Hello and welcome to the Habitat Project podcast, where we talk about cultivating good habits, pursuing our dreams, and enjoying life. I'm Anthony, and these are my findings on how to make the most out of each day and enjoy the process along the way. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Habitat Project podcast. Today I have a special guest, Juliana from Papercrane. As some of you may know, we are working on a project called The Confident Mind, which is a 30-session guided meditation, guided journaling to help build the confident mind. And very excited to have you here today. Let's get into today's podcast.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
No worries. So let's start with journaling. How did you get into journaling?
Well, actually, when I come to think of it, I like to write since I'm very young, since I was like fourth grader.
Okay.
That was my first diary.
Wow.
And I like to write about what happened in my life until I get into college. But then I got married and then got busy and I left everything, the journaling stuff. And not until recently I started to do journaling again. And it feels different now because I did the Alex Banayan challenge of journaling. That was like 30 days of journaling, and it was something new for me where I can get a better and clarify how I think, what I do, and it was something really fun and challenging, but also beneficial.
Yeah, I think for me, my journaling practice when I first started journaling is that I'm able to identify if the thought patterns are not good. So I usually journal in the morning. I do my meditation and then I journal, and then in that process, firstly I see if my handwriting is good or not. If it sucks, then I'm like, something's bothering me. But if it's good, and then I see what I'm writing is it stinks, I'm like, okay, I better change that. And then it gives me an opportunity to kind of fire myself up, give myself motivate. And then so that's how I journal. Do you have a certain situation or experience where you use journaling to get through some sort of setback or some sort of tough situations?
Yeah, of course. I do a lot about reflecting what I did during the day, and also what feelings, what emotions did I get during the day. And when I read it again, I can see through a few days after, I can see what I've gone through, and also from what I did, what my mistakes was. I can learn what not to do in the future. Yeah. So I think it creates, that sense of, you can learn, you can see the pattern from what your writing is, what you did. And I think journaling really helps that.
Yeah. With the daily reflection practice, I found that at the end of the day, if you do have a practice like that, even if you think you've had a bad day, but if you look back and find the bit of good, not every day is going to be a good day, but there's good in every day.
Yeah, that's right.
It really helps. Just go to bed feeling nice. For me, a few years ago when I was going through a period of high stress, I really needed that to kind of put my mind off things. Otherwise, I'll just be thinking of looping these negative thoughts and not being able to go to sleep. Actually, speaking of that, later on when we talk about the confident mind itself, there is a thing that we do in the program called the daily ESP. So we track, the ESP stands for effort, success, and progress. So that's actually in the confident mind program. So stick to the end of the episode. We'll go through the what's actually in the program.
Yes.
Okay, let's move forward. What this whole project's about: building confident mind, having confidence. What does having confidence mean for you?
Well, in the beginning, I think a lot of people, even myself in the beginning, think that confident is something negative, like sort of arrogant, right? A lot of people perceive it, confidence like that. But the more I think of it, I feel like confidence is actually good for you, because it's your belief that I can actually do it.
Yep.
It's a belief that I can do things.
Yep.
Or I can get through it.
Yep.
I think that's what confident really means.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting thing, how confidence can be perceived as arrogance or cockiness. I think in a day-to-day situation, maybe in the office, maybe, with your friends or in the gym, these things can come off like that.
Yeah.
But if it's a high stakes situation, like a life or death situation, maybe in the hospital, maybe in in soldiers in war or firefighters or police, then your belief in yourself and your ability to execute has those high stakes. It's a life and death situation.
Yeah, true.
So I like to think of it as, if you're able to execute to the best of your abilities, that's you being confident. The result, the outcome, a lot of that is outside of our control.
True.
So the arrogant, the arrogant aspect or the cockiness aspect of it, if it's in a high stakes situation, it really doesn't matter. It's like, we're gonna get this done or not.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, it could be a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was building out this program, what I wanted to get the users to experience through the program is how to position themselves in the present and use what they have, what knowledge, what skills, what they already know, what's within all of us already, and to practice just executing in the present. So we do that through the guided meditation, through the journaling, to build the patterns. But our ability to just be like, okay, this is what's going on right now. This is what I'm able to do. Let's focus on this right now,
true,
true. And then practice letting go of the distraction of, I hope, or whatever the outcome is. Although, that's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But if we just keep thinking about the outcome, we're not being in the present,
True.
So that is something that we practice in the Confident Mind program. What are some situations that you've gone through where you have felt that your level of confidence in the situation has been beneficial?
There was this one time, there was my low-key points where my eldest, she was actually 5 at the time, and she got sick, but I blame myself for that.
Okay.
Because I wasn't there. That was the first time I traveled with my parents without my children. And then she got sick when I was traveling. So that creates like a big guilt for me, because this situation was really bad. She was hospitalized. She got dengue fever, typhus, and also dysentery, all the 3-in-1.
Wow.
It was like very critical, and I blame myself for that. But then I think that's normal response, right? As a mother, you're not a good mother, you're not good enough. But then because I think all this time I kept myself positive. I think that's also a practice, right? To build your confidence. That's why I start telling myself, well, everybody make mistakes, and so let's just try, do your best again. Just redo it, try to be better, just learn your lesson. I think that's part of that journey of getting that confidence. So right now I'm just doing one step at a time, but just try to do my best.
And the thing with that is, I think the reaction is to blame yourself. The reaction is to have that guilt, right?
Yeah.
But that's not going to make it feel better. That's not going to us being so hard on ourselves and whipping ourselves, mentally, emotionally, doesn't make whatever the outcome that we wish to happen, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, your eldest at that time needed her mum to be strong, to be there for her, to take care of her, right? But if we're whipping ourselves and we're so down on ourselves, we can't actually do that.
True.
So that inner voice is something that we cultivate in this program. This is that inner coach that's always with us. Our inner voice is always with us. Some people, we all have different ways of thinking, of like making sense of things, right? So there's three main ones. Either we see things in pictures, either we see things or we hear a monologue, or we feel feelings. Obviously, there's like an overlap with all of these.
True.
Do you think which one do you think yours is? I know mine is the monologue. I have like a constant like monologue, so that's like my main kind of like communication with myself. Do you know which one yours is? Is it more pictures? Is it more?
I think mine is more like monologue as well.
Yeah.
Because I came to a realization that what came to my mind, what I say to myself, is actually really important.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you keep telling that, oh, you're not good enough, you're never good enough, so you're always feeling down, right?
Yeah.
But like for example, like when we exercise, we have like 3 minutes to go. We need to push ourselves, right? But if we keep telling, oh, I'm so tired, maybe you will not be able to finish it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The quality of our thought, really influences like the subconscious like emotions that we have. And then that affects our ability to execute whatever it is that we're trying to do.
Our action, right?
Our actions. So as part of this program, we want to cultivate this inner coach that is able to coach us, to support us through whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And the way that the program is built out is we start with a simple day-to-day task because we want to make it winnable. We want to make it like
simple.
Yeah, simple just to get started. And then we practice using that coach, the inner coach, our inner voice. And then we ramp up, we increase the stakes to a task that's related to our goals.
Yeah.
And then once we do that, we got increase the stakes again and use the inner coach to guide us through a particular challenge that we might be going through. So that's part of this program to help us be aware that we do have this inner coach or inner voice, and if that inner voice isn't helpful, to slowly change that and to create the new patterns that is going to be more beneficial.
I think that's a really
for
good,
us.
Yeah, step by step.
Step by step, and there's a progression for that. I think the next question is, what are some areas that you think that you need to build confidence in?
There's still a lot of a lot of area, but I think we need to build confidence like in every aspect of our life.
Yeah.
Because each one of us have so many roles.
Yep.
Right? I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend, I'm also
business owner.
Yeah, that's one of them. So I need to be a leader.
Yep.
So that's a huge role, right? So many roles. So we need to build from each one of the aspects. But I think the main one is ourselves, right?
Yeah.
We have like one main big personality. That's us. You start from just like what you said, from the simple things that we do daily, that we know we can do it. And then from there, I think like for myself, like just doing show up every day just to exercise to make you healthy. That's like a start for me. Simple stuff, but I know that I can do it. I just show up every day and do the exercise, and I feel like, oh, I can do this. And so on the other aspects of my life, I start doing that, the little things, and then start building it. And but yeah, I think just start from yourself, and then develop them into your roles, your other roles.
I think it's important to see, like, when we're down and we're not confident, even like the most simple of things, it's like impossible to do.
So difficult.
But when we're feeling good and we're feeling confident, like you feel unstoppable, right?
Even if it's
difficult. Exactly. Even if it's a really difficult thing, you just be like, I'm just going to show up, So like, as part of this program is we start always with the daily things, the daily errand, super simple stuff. It sounds like so small, like doing the dishes, making your bed, vacuuming, whatever, right? Taking out the rubbish. It sounds so simple, but that's where it starts. That's actually where it starts. If you can do the small things well, and then you can step it up, and then you can step it up again, and then it goes into everything. For me, the thing that I'm using to test my confidence and to build my confidence right now is that Leah and I are moving to Australia soon. We've never done that before. I've never moved. I mean, I have moved countries, but I was a child, and my parents were the ones dealing with all of that. For me, we are going to a new place. We're going to a new city. We're sorting out our own, everything on our own. It's something completely new.
It's gonna be a change.
A lot of change, exactly. So Leah and I talk about, like, it's just, there's so many things that are new, so many things that we don't know. But that's the thing that we use to build our confidence. That's the thing that we use to test ourselves. That's the thing that once we go through it, we know, like, because when we look back at all the challenges that we've been through, we're like, oh, okay, thank God that happened, because now I made it. You know what I mean? So instead of putting that into, like, hindsight, I actively try to put that into foresight. So be like, oh, this is difficult. This is the thing that's difficult. This is what difficult feels like. Why is it difficult? Because I don't know it. But once I go through it, that is actually the way. The obstacle becomes the way, right? So for me, the thing I'm using to build confidence right now is that change. That's the challenge. That's the challenge that I'm using to build my confidence, or to test my confidence at this moment.
Well, I think for myself, the biggest challenge right now is my business. I'm currently running two businesses actually at the same time, and I'm trying to scaling up.
Right.
Which I don't have any business background, so that's a big challenge. That's a huge challenge for me. So I need to learn more about how to run the business properly, how to scale it up. I think that's the biggest challenge for me right now.
Yeah.
But just trying to tackle each one one by one, like how to actually start from, like, how to use your time wisely so you can be more productive. I start from there right now, and then go to the more technical stuff on the business itself. Yeah,
I think in this program, what we try to do is in the first week, we set the goals, and then throughout the program, there is always one of the tools. One of the tools is used to tackle a task that's related to your goals.
Oh, yeah.
So whether that's with the inner coach, like we mentioned earlier, with being resourceful, which is one of the tools, with getting into a state of flow, with betting on ourselves and using challenging situations to strengthen our faith and belief in ourselves. All of these has, on one of the days, using this tool on a task that's related to our goals, so that we prove to ourselves, um, well, that we can do it,
Yeah.
right? And that we can make progress. Okay, let's move on. If one of the things, and oh, by the way, Juliana and I did a Tony Robbins course together. We did the business mastery course together, and one of the things that Tony Robbins talks about is creating. If you want to create a change, is to create a lever, right?
True.
So you question, what if I don't? What if I don't do this? And then you kind of like project into the future and be like, okay, what if I don't do this? Then what will happen in 1 year's time? What will happen in 2 years' time?
Yeah.
10 years' time?
True.
What if I don't?
True.
So what if I don't do this? So in this case, what if we don't build confidence? What if we just take it as it comes? Sometimes I'm confident, sometimes I'm not. And we just don't work on it. What do you think would happen if you don't build confidence?
Well, that was me. It's like the person who's like, just go with the flow. We'll see how it goes. But then I kind of see that it doesn't really work well.
Right. It's not reliable.
True, yeah. Because life is always going to be up and down, right?
Yep.
And there's going to be a lot of distractions. So if you don't have that confidence, you can't be focused toward your goals, what you really want. So I think it's really important that you have that confidence built in you.
Yeah.
So every time there's challenges coming, you can just get through it. Otherwise, it will take longer, I think, for you to get there.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for you to maybe get up
Yeah.
if you don't have that mindset.
For me, I think about the people that depend on me, the people that I serve. So for example, at the gym, if I'm not confident in my understanding of what I'm trying to coach, how can I serve? I can't.
That's true.
Right? If I don't understand this thing fully, I don't understand the details of it, I don't understand why we're doing this, I don't understand what the movement's supposed to look like, how can I serve?
Yeah.
Right? So I need to be able to firstly, obviously, understand the content, right? The knowledge, the education part of it, of whatever that we're doing. Actually what it is understanding the nature of things. So whether that's business, relationships, our health, at the gym, what is the nature of things?
Yeah,
what is the nature of things first? And then try to align with the nature. If I can put myself in position to be like, okay, this is where I am right now, and I'm learning this thing, I feel like that's already being confident, because at this moment, this is what I know.
Yeah.
And there's always things that we don't know.
True.
We're not going to know everything, right?
Yeah.
But this is what it is right now, and this is what I can do right now, and this is what we can do right now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we can do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But today, right now, this is what it is.
True.
And this is something that is cultivated in this program as well, being resourceful.
Yeah.
So in one of the weeks, we sit down and we take an inventory of what we have, all the things that we have. I think especially when we're down, we always focus on what we don't have, what we don't know, what we can't do.
True.
And well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
But when we take an inventory of all the things that we do have, what we do know, what we can do, and what we can focus on, well, then we can mobilize. We can be like, okay, this is what we do have. This is how we're going to do it. This is what I can do right now. And I think that is really useful, firstly, in building confidence or in being confident, because you're taking action. This is what we can do.
Yeah. You realize what you have actually, right?
Right now.
So you're focusing on what you
right
have.
now. Exactly. And that's what we can do right now. I think if I don't build confidence, then I'm not going to be able to serve. I'm not going to be able to be there for my family, for my loved ones, for my friends, when they need it.
True.
Right. When and there's so many challenges that we go through in our lives. We should assume I go through this mental exercise, we should assume that when we wake up, shit's gonna happen.
True. Every day.
Every day, right? So why are we surprised?
Yeah.
Right? So cultivate a confidence so that when shit happens, we don't have to hope for us to be able to handle it, but we fall to the level of our training that's just the stuff that
True.
that's the type of shit we go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, I think, is why it's important for me to work on this, to actively work on this, so that we're not surprised
Yeah.
when shit happens.
Yeah.
And we fall down to the level of our training, and this is the training.
True.
That's what it is.
And talking about our loved ones, I was actually thinking about building confidence for yourself. It reflects, right? People around you can see it, if you have that confidence or not. And for me, I'm trying to build that confidence also for my children.
Yeah.
Because they're also in the learning phase. If they can see the parents is, oh, my parents can do this, and any obstacles they have, they can get through it, and then they can see it.
Yeah.
And also it gives influence to them as well.
Yeah.
And so they can be confident as well that they can do it as well.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be built since very young age.
Yeah. I think I can't remember what I saw this on recently. Well, I don't have children. I have a dog, but it's kind of the same. But I mean, like, I can't remember where I saw this, but basically, with to your point about parenting, when we have kids, in the beginning when they're younger, they want to do everything with you, right? And then you can teach them stuff. It's I guess like more direct way. But when they become teenagers, in this video that I saw, they don't want to be with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Try to do
We're
it
embarrassed by our
themselves,
parents
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, and so they want to be away from you. So how can you teach them at that point in time? And the point from this video that was really interesting is that they're not going to listen to you, but they will use you as an example. So to your point about teaching your children or being a good example to your children, you working on yourself is an example to them.
Yeah.
That shows like, oh, this is not, first of all, this is not a fixed thing. Like our abilities is not a fixed thing. It's something that it can be trained. It's something that can grow.
Yeah.
It's something that needs to be constantly worked on. Well, we have the opportunity to work on it on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's a really cool example and that you're setting for your kids. Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so let's move forward again. Now, we've touched on a few of what's within the program, the Confident Mind program, or the Confident Mind project. But let's go into a little bit more detail about what's in the program itself. Number one, being confident is a pattern, is a skill, is a habit. It can be developed.
Yes.
Right? Some people, of course, are born more confident than others, all that. Sure, that's fine. But whatever level of confidence that we usually carry ourselves with, it can actually be developed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important point to start off with, so that when people, when the inhabitants see this or want to build their confidence, we know that it's something that can be improved.
It's
right?
possible.
Exactly. It can be worked on. It can be improved. So that's the number one thing. And that's why this program exists. Number two, the program works on winning the first victory. So there's a quote by Sun Tzu that says, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war and then seek to win."
It's a really good one.
So the victorious warrior win first and then go to war. What do they win? Well, they win the battle in here first.
True.
They're not going into war hoping to win. They're going into war knowing what they're gonna do.
Their mindset.
Their mindset. The mindset is, they're not battling themselves first and then battling someone else.
Yeah.
So this is what we try to cultivate in this program. In the very beginning stages, we do what's called deposits into our mental bank accounts. And it's such a simple thing, which is we look back at our lives and we see all the top moments that we've already had, because that's proof to ourselves. Sometimes when we're down, we only see the bad parts.
Yeah.
So we need to sit down and be like, no, actually, I did do some things. I was able to. These were the things that these are my top moments. And that's a deposit into our bank account. And just like in our financial bank accounts, if we want to draw something out, we need to put stuff in.
Yeah.
So in the beginning stage of the it's all about building that bank account so that we can draw from it and execute with confidence. What are some of your top moments that you've had in your lives?
I think my top moments is when the first day my children was born. I think that's the biggest moment for me. I've had a lot of moments actually.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm so grateful for that. I also had the chance to, participate in a sport challenge, and the Spartan race, and I was able to finish it. So that was also my top moments, also. And I finally did it, the Tony Robbins course also.
Yeah.
I think that was also a big challenge for me because there was like time difference and stuff, and I managed to finish it. That's also my one of my big moments. So I think having to realize that you have those win moments is very important, because whenever you're down, you need to remember that you have that. You have that win moments, right?
Yep.
It's very important to have that memory, and also have that feeling, to remember that feeling when you win something, when you were able to do something, and that will keep you going. And how about your moments?
Yes, so mine has winning basketball championships when I was playing basketball, getting married, getting our dog, starting this podcast, when Habit app launched to the Play Store, App Store. Those are my top moments. And what you mentioned just now that was very important is it's when you're down.
Yeah.
When things are going well, things are going
it's
well.
Easy.
Exactly. But if you have the top moments list, so in this program, we put the top moments list somewhere that you can see, maybe in your work area or something. And it allows us to remember those feelings as we execute on, whatever our tasks are. But it's really more relevant, in my opinion, when things are going bad.
Yeah.
When things are going bad, and that picks you up and puts you into that position of, well, I've got this proof here that I can do it.
Yeah.
And that's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough for you to show up and get that little bit done for the day. It's enough.
Yeah.
And if we can practice that over time, well, that's another thing that that we're just proving to ourselves.
Yeah.
That we're able to execute to the best of our ability with what we have.
And also, I think you don't have to be too harsh on yourself.
Yeah.
For some people, it's very difficult to find your winning moments, right?
Yeah.
Your big moments.
Yeah.
For some, it's really difficult, but just go through your timelines, your life timelines.
Yeah.
There should be so many things that you can be, you can say it, can be grateful for.
Yeah.
Those happy moments.
Yeah.
Even a simple thing, it can be your big moments as well. It can be your big win.
Yeah. Exactly.
So don't be too harsh on yourself. Like it has to be something big.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Right?
No, it doesn't. No,
a simple thing,
really
like
doesn't.
even you find the right guy, you get married. That's also a big win.
Huge.
Right?
Huge.
Yeah. So just keep it simple.
Yeah.
Go to your best moments where you can where you feel happy, grateful. I think that's your big win, right?
Yeah, yeah. In another part of this program is about practicing being in the present and executing in flow. I think this is such an important skill to develop because so often if we don't, let's talk about if we don't do this.
Yeah.
If we don't do this, we're so worried about the outcome. We're worried about what happened before we started doing whatever it is that we're doing. Worried about if we're doing it right or not. We're worried about how it looks. We're worried about so many things to worry about, but we're not actually there executing on the thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if we're being confident, we're actually in the moment, just executing to the best of our ability and knowing that that's enough.
True.
Because, well, why isn't it enough? Because that's all we can do at that moment, right?
True.
More than that, we can't do yet.
Yeah.
If we can, we would be doing it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So for example, an easy thing to think about in this kind of scenario is like at the gym, right? We're like, oh, but that's all I'm lifting. Yeah, because you can't lift more yet.
Yeah.
If you could, we will be lifting that
Yeah.
amount, or like we will be going at that pace. But right now, the training of today is this weight at this pace
True.
with this form, right?
Trust the process.
You got to trust the process, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
Not just good enough, that is enough.
Yeah.
More than that,
Yeah.
we're not there yet. Tomorrow we might be, but
Yeah.
today this is what it is. So executing in flow to the best of our ability with what we have is going to come up again and again in this program. And it's challenging to get into.
True.
Because if we're not used to it, we're so worried about the outcome of something.
Yeah.
We're so worried about the outcome. When actually, let's say for example this podcast, right? We want this podcast to be nice. But we can't make the podcast nice. What we can do is have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right? That's what makes the podcast nice, right? So part of this program is about understanding that the outcome is the outcome. The outcome is largely outside of our control. Our approach, our perspective, our actions of what we can do, that's what's within our control. And to practice that through, once again, in the program will be a daily task, daily thing, and then stepping it up to a task related to your goals, and then stepping up to a challenge that we might be going through, and building the confidence that way.
And I think in this state of flow, don't expect for perfection, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So you just go do it one at a time,
Yep.
tackle one thing at a time.
Yep.
You just do it.
Yeah.
The best you can do,
Yeah.
right?
What are some experiences that you've had with being a state of flow?
I think as women, we use a lot of emotions, right? So when that came, there's always like good mood, bad mood. But when you have that confidence, you say to yourself again that you need to do this. Just do it.
Yeah.
You'll get over it, and then just tackle it one by one. And so, like on the bad days for me, it's like I don't want to do my work.
Yeah.
When I have like certain problem came in life, and so while I have this much to-do list to do during the day, so I just say to myself that I need to do this.
Yeah.
And I can do it. Just set aside all of the other problems because you need to do what is right.
Yeah.
Right now, right?
What is the situation then?
Yeah. And what you need to do right now. So focus on that.
Yeah.
So we can like focus on finishing things up and then set aside our emotions and our
Yeah, I think one of the things with executing in flow is that it's not perfection. The only thing is what you're doing. The only thing, whether that's training at the gym or doing work or whatever it might be, the only thing is this execution right now. Don't compare this to something else. how you did it before,
Yeah.
how you're going to do it after, whatever the outcome might be. But just execute this to the best of your ability, and that's what it is.
Just do the action.
Exactly. Do the action in the moment, right now. That's what it is. The experiences that I had with executing in flow, I think one that was very, very vivid to me is during a competition, a functional fitness competition at the Iron Games. During the events, especially the last event, I really have no thought. I really had no recollection of like thinking. I was just there. I was just there, and I just did the reps. I can't remember exactly what the workout was, but the movements had like snatches, bar muscle ups, and double unders. And I remember like I just what's the next amount of reps that I need to do?
Okay.
And then I just did it. And then it was like, okay, if I failed, like if I tripped up on the double unders, I just like, it wasn't even, I didn't even think about it. It was just like, okay. And then I just did it again, you know, and it was such a free feeling. There was no thought about, I didn't have any thought about, like winning or losing or the crowd or
no expectation.
I had zero expectation. I didn't feel what the body was feeling. I didn't have anything. It was just in the moment. It was just doing the reps, you know. And I try to remember that, and be like, okay, how did I get into that moment? How did I get into that moment? And use that or practice that throughout different stuff that we do. So when I realize that I'm thinking too far ahead, being anxious,
That's true.
try to bring myself back and then just be in the moment, and then just try to, you know, execute to the best of my ability, and let the outcome take care of itself. I just focus on the process. Next, let's talk about, we touched on this before, but our inner coach. For me, I used to think that if I was hard on myself, if my inner coach wasn't nice, that's the only way I could motivate myself. If my inner coach wasn't, if my inner coach wasn't nice, if my inner coach was too nice, I wouldn't be able to do anything. And I think a good characteristic of an inner coach that we try to develop, that we look to develop in this, is your inner coach needs to be your best but most honest friend.
True. Yeah.
Because if you put it this way, if your friend, like your actual friend, someone else, is going through something, and you talk to them the way that you talk to yourself, that person's not going to be your friend. You know what I mean?
It's like for the me anyway. Truth.
You know, like you're probably not going to be friends for very long. But that's how we talk to ourselves. You know. So has there been times when you realize, like, hey, this inner coach is not working for me? What was that situation like?
Well, I keep telling myself so many times that I cannot do this because I have certain limitations. I cannot do this because of this, because, you know, like, for example, the thing that I keep telling myself is I don't have the time. And telling that, you know, because you have a lot of things to do, you have so many roles, you have your priorities, so I don't have enough time for this and that and that. That keeps coming into my head. And, well, in the beginning, I think my inner coach didn't really do well because, you don't have that much time. You know. But then after some practices, right, it came to me that, like so many other people can do a lot, even they've like so many businesses, they have so many roles. Why can't I do that?
Everybody has the same 24 hours.
Exactly. And so I changed my inner coach then. So when everybody have those capabilities that I can do it too. That you should do it too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's then switch, and then I try to find out how did people were able to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. If it can be done and somebody else done it, always think that we have the capability to do it as well, some way, somehow.
Yeah.
Next, let's talk about being resourceful. That's part of building this program. We mentioned it earlier. I think this is such a tactical strategy, and it's so useful because every day we actually use our resources, right? We use our energy, we use our money, we use our network, we use our knowledge of what we have. But if we never take an inventory of it, we always just think about the things that we cannot do. If it's at the gym, for example, and you never take inventory of like what you're actually capable of doing, you never record your workouts, it's very difficult to build your confidence because you're literally coming to the gym you train and get tired and you know you break down.
Yeah.
That's literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
But if that's all you focus on and you never see, you never track it, you never know of the progression of the progress. So being resourceful in this program, we sit down and we list out all the things that we do have, all the knowledge that we do have, all the skills that we do have, the money that we do have, the network that we do have, whatever else that we do have, and we focus on that. For me, the experience about being resourceful, and this ties in with my inner coach, is that I get really anxious about what I can't do and what I don't have, and be like, oh, and what I don't know. Yeah. Right. I get really anxious about that. But when we go through this, and we list out the things that we do know, then we start focusing on that, and it's like, oh yeah, so don't worry about the things that you don't know.
Yeah.
Those things will appear.
Yeah. And
when we go through a challenge, the reason why that thing is challenging or that thing is difficult is because we don't know.
Yeah.
If we know it, or if we go through a problem, the reason why it's a problem is because we don't know it yet. Yeah. But once we go through it, we don't have a problem anymore. We have a solution. So that increases this, what we do know, and from experience. So it allows us to not run away from the problems and not deal with problems that haven't arisen yet, like we don't imagine our problems. And that is, I think, really crucial in building confidence, because then when problems arise, we see it as an opportunity to increase our abilities.
Believe in yourself that you actually know what to do. Yeah. If you don't even know what to do, you can ask, right? Yeah. So that's also a resource, right?
Yes.
You can ask someone.
Our network,
someone that might understand, and you learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Welcome back. We had to cut just now to change the battery, but we're back in conversation.
Yes.
You mentioned just now before this about believing in yourself. That's the kind of the last part of this program, to bet on ourselves, to have faith in ourselves and our abilities. This is so important because, once again, what if we don't? Well, here's the thing. If we don't believe in ourselves, then who the hell are going to believe in us?
Yeah, true.
If we don't bet on ourselves, then who the hell is going to bet on us?
Yeah.
Right? Here I want to stop and say my mum will bet on me. But, you know what I mean? Like, we have to be able to believe in ourselves. We have to cultivate this belief in ourselves. We get to, because we get to bet on ourselves. We get to build this belief in ourselves.
Yeah.
The thing is, our minds and bodies' ability to learn and adapt is actually so amazing. We need to learn about that. That is that is the way of nature. We didn't invent how a mind learns. We didn't invent how the body adapts. It's just like that. Yeah. And if we learn how to do that, and we align ourselves with nature, that is a big boost of confidence. True. Because that is how the machine works. Yeah. I mean, that is how the body works. That is how the mind works. So as part of this program, we cultivate that. It's sort of like the last week to tie everything else up, to tie everything up, to to always bet on yourself, to play your game, to learn about what you're able to do, and to do it to the best of your ability, and just keep on going.
Moving, yeah.
What are some of your experiences about betting on yourself, about believing in yourself? You mentioned you have 2 businesses, so that's you betting on yourself. But yeah, what are some experiences where you've made the conscious decision, like, oh, I need to, bet on myself on this?
I think there's a simple example that I can tell you. Like 2 years ago, I was asked to be one of the liturgy committee from my church.
Okay.
Where I don't even know what liturgy is. But I told myself that maybe I need to do this.
Yeah.
Just get out of my comfort zone.
Yep.
Because it's nicer not to do it, to say no.
Yeah.
But I push myself, not knowing actually what will happen, like what should I do, but I just say yes first.
Yeah.
And then just have faith
that
I'll just try my best.
Yeah.
But then after that, I just keep on learning and like what to do, and then I practice and just push myself to do my best. And like after some time, I get used to it. Like I have to lead a meeting, something like that, at church, something like that, and then but then you I get out of my comfort zone and just have faith in yourself and just do it. Don't think too much, don't overthink it. Just try your best, I think.
Because the cool thing is our dopamine system, our reward system that's inbuilt, that we didn't buy and we didn't invent, that's inbuilt in us already, is that when we go through strain or an uncomfortable situation, it automatically will come up. Your dopamine will automatically increase.
Yeah.
And what it will highlight in our brains the patterns that are required to get the thing done. And we need to make mistakes in that process because it needs to know what the right patterns are, and it needs to know what the wrong patterns are.
It's okay to make mistakes.
It's actually required for us to learn. So when we go through something new and we make the mistake, like we do the wrong things, but we also do the right things, it notes what the right things are, and the dopamine will highlight the right patterns for ourselves. So when we relax and lean into strain, we let that process happen. We let that process happen. And that's having faith. So a lot of times when we talk about having faith, it's like we pray, we like that kind of stuff, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's wrong. That's completely fine. But this is like a biological thing that actually happens.
There's scientific.
Yes, this is the actual thing that happens for us, for neuroplasticity to happen, for us to learn, for us to learn a new skill, for us to learn a new language, for us to learn a new ability. This is actually the thing that actually happens in our brain and bodies. We can't force it to happen. We didn't invent it to happen. It just happens. So how can you not have faith?
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So part of this program is about how we build that awareness about how the things naturally work and have faith in that. For me, the thing that I'm betting on myself with is this program, right? It's building habit out. It's doing this podcast, because if I don't have the belief in it, then who the hell will, right? You got to have belief in yourself first. And when I first came across this notion was actually when I was like 18, when I was like talking to girls. And like at that time, well, I don't know if you know at that time, but at that time, like when you first started talking to someone that you like, and they're like, oh, I'm not sure, like that. I learned very early on that if somebody's not sure, like a romantic partner,
Yeah.
if they're not sure about something, you're not going to make them more sure if you're not sure,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
right? So just be sure. Like, that's how you make them sure.
Yeah.
That's when I learned
I
that.
get it.
So, same thing with all the stuff that we do, right? You're not going to make somebody, whether it's a romantic partner, business partner, or anything, you're not going to make them more sure by you being unsure.
Yeah.
The only way is for you to be sure, to bet on yourself, to have faith, to do the best of your ability, and just go with it.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of a little podcast today, a little episode today. Is there anything you want the inhabitants to pay special attention to? Maybe in terms of what Papercrane is about, and yeah, what do we pay attention to?
Well, Papercrane is actually not just a planner or a journal, but we want to help people to build the best version of themselves, to have a quality of life, to spend the time with their loved ones. And so we are also very grateful to have the opportunity to create this together, this Confident Mind Journal. I think is a very simple method. It is a very powerful tool to build that confidence that you need. And I think we also need to remember that life is always up and downs. Life is always impermanent, right? So whenever there's bad times, just remember that it's only temporary, that we can get through this. And whenever there's good times coming, you just enjoy that moment and remember that feeling, because it's going to be something that you need in the future. So, yeah.
Cool. So stay tuned for the release date of the Confident Mind track, or the Confident Mind project journal, a collaboration between Papercrane Indonesia and Habit app. Follow Papercrane on Instagram, papercrane.id, and be on the lookout for the launch date. There may be some special promo for the launch. And if you haven't already, follow Habit app. That's Habit app _ on Instagram. And download Habit app for free at the App Store and Play Store. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you.